Welcome everybody to the How to Make Money with Excel series. I'm Chris from Tiger Spreadsheet Solutions. It's fantastic to have you with us today. If you are watching live, please let me know, can you see me and can you hear me? Now, how did you get to this video? Well, hopefully it's because you love Excel VBA. Maybe you've been following the 30 for 30 series, and maybe you're thinking, well, I like this so much, I'd love it if it was my job. Or maybe at least you're thinking, how could I move my career towards using more Excel, using VBA? Or maybe you're thinking on a bigger scale than that. Maybe you're thinking, I'd like to start my own consultancy company using Excel VBA. Maybe I'd like to start a YouTube channel. Or maybe Excel isn't your thing. And maybe you are a small business owner or somebody looking to start their own consultancy, maybe strike out on your own as a freelancer. If you're any of these people, you are going to love this series. In this series, we've got 7 static videos, 7 live streams. I'm going to take you through step by step what I've done to make money out of Excel. And I've got my little company that does Excel consultancy. I've got my YouTube channel that's got over 4 million views over the years. I'm going to be sharing my insights, but it's going to be interactive. It is not all about me on this channel. You are the heroes of this channel. In the 30 for 30 series, we had so much good feedback, lots of people learning lots of stuff. So I'm hoping to take you on a bit of a journey and actually make differences to your career. So we're going to have little activities for you to do. We've got little Excel, obviously in Excel, we've got little Excel sheets for you to fill out, and we have videos. Today we're going to have 2 video contributions from our viewers. We've got Mariya in the chat and we've got Thomas in the chat. We're going to address their questions directly. So they're looking to get more out of Excel in terms of their career, to make money out of Excel. We're going to watch their videos, hear their stories. We're even going to meet Thomas's cat. I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to see what we can do to that, what we can do for them in terms of helping them to use Excel to push their career forward. So that's the plan for the next half an hour or so. And let's get into the chat. Welcome everybody. Good to see some names here from 30 for 30. Fantastic to be with you today. MCI Nick 1 from Bromsgroves, welcome. I think you're a new viewer. Good to have you with us. And welcome Mariya, of course. Mariya and Thomas are with us. Welcome Ian Lamb from Edinburgh. Good to have you. Welcome Tom Little, a new member. Good to have you with us, Tom. Welcome Charles. Charles has been doing the 30 for 30 series on lesson 7. Great to see you, Charles. Who else we got with us? Welcome Lee Williams. Welcome Paul. Welcome Stuart, another one of our new members. Good to have you with us. Buana Prasad is with us. Welcome, Buana. And Chao Ma is with us. Welcome, Chao from China. Good to have you with us. How did you get on YouTube from China, by the way? I didn't think they had YouTube in China, but nevertheless, it's good to have you with us. Frank is with us. Frank was a great student in the 30 for series. Good to have you with us. Himanshu Prasad as well is with us, tuning in from the USA. Welcome, Himanshu. And DC is with us. David Cooper from Missouri. Good to have you with us, DC, as always. And then Robert Layton tuning in at the bottom. So welcome, everybody. Right, without further ado, we're going to get into our first video. So we're trying to work out how to make money out of Excel, how to put it at the center of your career. And in the first video, hopefully you've watched the static video from yesterday, we were talking about 5 different things you could focus on in Excel to make money. We're going to see we have to niche down in order to level up. We can't really just say, oh, I'm an Excel consultant, because it's such a rich topic these days. So with that in mind, let's get into Thomas's video. You can see Thomas's video in the link below this video, in the description rather. You can see the link to his video. I'm going to play the video now. Let me know in the chat, is the audio okay on the video? Not absolutely sure if this is going to work, so let me know if you can hear Thomas. Right, over to Thomas.
Hi Chris, Thomas from South Africa. I am very fascinated with Excel. It's my favorite program. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer working for a training company here in South Africa. And I only get paid on the days that I actually give classes. So it's getting a little bit difficult with this lockdown. Not easy to get money. not easy to get classes. The company apparently is looking at Zoom or MS Teams. So I'll have to find a way to earn an income, otherwise I'll probably get evicted from my flat. So this course came just at the right time. It was last year that I bought 2 books. One is Excel Formulas and Functions. The other one is the Excel Bible. And when I mentioned to my boss that my 2 new toys was delivered, he wanted to know what toys, and I showed him the 2 books. And he said, yes, it'll only be me that consider books like that as toys. I told him that I loved playing with my toys because it teaches me much more about Excel. I would love to be able to assist people with their problems. So see you in one of the live views. Unfortunately, my cat thinks that he should also be in the video. So I'll have to find a way to keep him out. Otherwise, he's just going to sit at the door crying that I must let him in, and then he's going to come and sit on my lap to watch what's going on. See you in the morning. Have a nice day. Bye.
Okay, there we go. So firstly, thank you so much to Thomas for sending in the video. And this is going to be a bit of a feature of this series. Can you send me a little video on your smartphone about any aspect of what we're talking about in this series? How can Excel play a role in your career? What should you focus on? How can you market yourself? Whatever it might be. I'll just say one thing when you do the videos: make sure you do them in portrait. Make sure you do them in landscape rather than portrait. So not like this, film them like this. That means they're going to display a little bit better. So what are we going to do from Thomas? And I think Thomas's situation is very common for people at the moment, because obviously we've got this strange world situation at the moment. If you were delivering services in person, it's going to be difficult to deliver those services now. In Thomas's case, he's a Microsoft Excel certified trainer, fantastic stuff, and delivering that training in person. So obviously that in-person training is probably not happening now. So what do you do? What do you do? How do you continue to make money out of Excel? Now, one thing I'll throw in at this point, a little disclaimer: everything I talk about is going to take time. It's going to take patience. I've been working on this for 10 years. I've been working on my business. I've been working on the YouTube channel for 7 or 8 years. I've done over 200 videos. So there's no quick fixes, unfortunately, with what I'm saying. It's going to take commitment from you and time and patience to make it work. But if you think you can put in that time, put in that patience, then I'm confident you're going to get results with exactly what we're going to be talking about here. So if you're looking to take your services online, what's the first thing you've got to think about here? And here we go. I say you've got to niche down to level up. You've got to niche down to level up. So what do we mean by this? Well, it's not enough these days to just say, oh, I do Excel. We know it's good to be the Excel guy, but Excel is such a vast topic these days. There's so many different functions in Excel. So many different things we can do. There's VBA, there's all of the power functions, and we'll look in the moment. We'll break down in more detail what the different parts of Excel are. But I'm saying you've got to niche down. So you've got to get known for a particular part of Excel, or you've got to serve a particular need or a particular type of person. We're going to get onto that in a second. So what I'd invite you to do to get you started thinking about this is to download the file. You'll be able to find the link in the description below this video to the article on our website. And on our website, I'm going to upload all of these support files there. I'm going to upload all of these support files. And these are the different aspects of Excel that you could focus on in order to start making money out of Excel. And what I'm going to say straight away is, and hopefully you got this message from the video yesterday, you don't have to be good at everything in Excel. I always hear this question, and when we get onto Mariya's video, we're going to deal with this again. Do you need to know everything in Excel in order to start offering your Excel services? Well, if I had thought that I need to know everything, I never would have got started with Excel, never would have got started with Excel VBA. So what I'm saying to you is you can specialize in one part of Excel, and that's going to mean less time to get your skills up to a level where you can actually start offering your services. So what are some of those areas you might focus on? Well, Excel formulae modeling. This is one area you can focus on. And in the video yesterday, I spoke about what an Excel model is. If you've ever built a spreadsheet, and you probably have if you're watching this video, if you've ever built a spreadsheet that has a formula in, then you probably built a model. A model consists of input, process, and output. For example, if you've ever built a simple budget planner in Excel, a little financial planner for yourself, then you've done inputs because you've inputted the things you're going to spend. You've probably put some formulae in there to add up all of those rows for each month to give you a monthly total. And then you'll have output cells as well, maybe the balance for each month or how much money you have at the end of the year. So you've created a spreadsheet with input, process, and output. That is an Excel model. And this is one aspect of Excel modeling that you can get into, that you can make money out of. I've done so many different modeling projects in financial situations in a number of different sectors for financial people. In trading, we've got some trading people in the chat today, in football trading, in financial trading, in all kinds of sectors. I've done Excel modeling, lots of Excel modeling in education as well to try to calculate student performance. So whatever the sector is, and in a second, we'll talk about different sectoral focuses you might have. You're going to find an application for modeling. So I want you to go ahead, go into this file, and how do you feel about Excel modeling? If you've done a lot of models and you know a lot of formulae, then you're probably quite confident with Excel modeling. So you can go ahead and say that you're very confident. I feel pretty confident with Excel modeling, but we're going to see. I'm not confident with all of these. So let's move on to data analysis. Another super powerful thing in Excel that can be part of your career. So data analysis, we're talking about having a data set and then doing an analysis of that data set. You know, what is the story of this data? What insights can this data give us? What kind of tools are we looking at there? Well, at the simple level, things like pivot tables. I have my Excel secret weapons, I call them, my data analysis formulae. And if you like doing things like creating charts, whatever it might be, then you are getting involved with data analysis. And for me, I'd say I'm fairly confident with data analysis. I think I'm more confident with the modeling aspect. I wouldn't describe myself as an expert in pivot tables, by the way. Often when some people would use pivot tables, I'll prefer to use VBA to give people that click of a button functionality. So for me, I'd say fairly confident. But if you just know data analysis, you like data analysis, pivot tables, pivot charts, you can market yourself as the Excel data analysis person. That is one way for you to start making money out of Excel. Let's look in the chat. Let me know, guys. Any questions in the chat, by the way? So Anup, welcome. And then the next person in the chat from Greece. I can't read Greek, I'm afraid, but very good to have you with us as well. So let's move on. There's two things you might choose to specialize in. We've got a niche down to level up. These might be your niches. So next, the power functions in Excel really come into the game in the past few years. We're seeing companies, my partner's company is doing this at the moment, moving on to the Power Platform. So Power BI, for example, creates these beautiful Excel dashboards in a kind of intelligent way. So people don't have to put them together themselves, putting the charts together. It can suggest, a sensible way to display the data. Power Pivot as well, to take your pivot tables to the next level. Power Query, if you've got a big data set and you want to do a quick data analysis on it. So again, the power functions, you can niche down and specialize in the power functions. But for me, I only know a few things. I've got to be straight with you. I have not done a lot with the Power Suite. I've done a little bit with Power Query. So for me, I'm not going to go out and market myself in that way, because I know you don't need to know everything in Excel to start making money out of Excel. So let's go in for the curveball here. Welcome, Jason Merigildo. I think it's the first time I've seen you. Fantastic to have you with us. So curveball, maybe those first three things you thought, yeah, I thought that might be coming. I thought he might mention modeling. I thought he might mention pivot tables. What about problem structuring? And this, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm very confident at, and this is a bit like one of my secret weapons, because whenever I'm approaching a client project, if you're having a client meeting, you know, what's the worst thing you can do? The worst thing you can do is open up Excel, because if you go straight into Excel, you're missing out such an important stage of the project, which is what I call problem structuring. So fundamental questions like, what spreadsheet should we be building in this situation? You're going to find that if a customer comes to you and says, I need a spreadsheet to do this, you will often find that's not the best spreadsheet in the situation. Why is that? Well, your customer isn't necessarily very experienced with Excel. It's a bit like when you go to the doctor, or when I take my car to the mechanic, I say, listen, I've got a problem with my car. This is what I think it is. Often the mechanic will come back to me after he's had a look at it, and the mechanic will say, no, that's not actually the problem. So people tend to be quite bad at diagnosing what they need in Excel. So if you're just jumping straight into the modeling, you might end up doing the wrong thing right, which is a phrase in management science. It's better to do the right thing wrong than the wrong thing right. Maybe we'll come back to that through the series, but you might end up building a spreadsheet that just isn't the best spreadsheet to build. So no matter how good the spreadsheet is, if it's in the wrong part of the situation, looking at the wrong data or serving the wrong people, then you're not going to have a lot of impact with your spreadsheet. This is why I love problem structuring. So here we're not talking about using Excel, we're talking about using visual tools to talk through the problem. Doesn't sound very glamorous, does it? Just talking through a problem, talk through the problem situation, find the best application for Excel, the best way to set up the spreadsheet, what data do we need, what columns do we need, map out the dependencies. Remember, Excel consists of formulae, which consist of dependencies, all kinds of cool stuff we can do with visuals, and customers love this. Customers love talking about Excel if they don't have to go into Excel. In my experience, customers love doing visualizations of Excel. For example, in PowerPoint, this is what your dashboard might look like. Working on it with them in PowerPoint, they love all that stuff. So problem structuring Excel, I'm telling you, this is an underserved area of the market. There is demand for this service that is currently unmet. So you can see I'm kind of building up my profile. Yes, Excel formally, yes. Data analysis, possibly. Not the power functions, and possibly problem structuring. Now, when you do this yourself, you're not going to have the same profile as me. But what I'm saying to you, yours might be no, 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 and then just one is yes, or one is fairly confident. That's what I'm saying. That's all you need. Now, moving on to Excel VBA. Now, clearly for me, I'm confident at Excel VBA, and how have I managed to grow my business? How have I managed to make money out of Excel? Really through being not just the Excel guy, but actually through being the VBA guy. Yeah, I've not just specialized in Excel, I've actually specialized in Excel VBA. I've spoken so many times on the channel about the particular benefits of Excel VBA. For me, it offers unrivaled click of a button functionality. Customers might love pivot tables, the power of pivot tables. They might love their Excel model. When they click on a button and it does all their work for them and it saves them 2 hours work, really, you can't compete with that impact. And that's why for me, even in the changing data landscape and the changing landscape of how Excel is being used, the future is bright for Excel VBA. And again, you could be an Excel VBA specialist. There is so much demand for VBA. The problem with VBA is people don't know it's there. You might be sitting at home thinking, why is Chris telling people all of these things? He's giving away secrets. Well, that's not true. Every new person talking about VBA is bringing potential customers into the market because people don't know it exists. So another person talking about it is beneficial for me. So you've got to go ahead, download this file, fill it out, make some notes for yourself there. And this is going to get you thinking. You've got to niche down to level up. So what might you begin to niche down in? What might you begin to specialize in Excel? And we're going to look at some other ways to niche down in a second. Let's get into the chat quickly. So we said hi to Jason, welcome. A-Luke3 is here. I think you're Danny, aren't you, A-Luke3? Welcome, tuning in from Maryland. Good to see you. And Mohsin is with us as well, tuning in from London, stuck inside the garden. Good to have you with us, Mohsin. Yeah, Charles says, I'm adoring the habit of the UK applauding the NHS each evening. Yes, that was last night. It's becoming a bit of a weekly event. Everyone goes outside and claps. It's quite nice, really. You can say hello to the neighbours and stuff. And Charles is tuning in from Ohio. Great to have you with us, Charles. So I'm saying, you've got to niche down to level up. You're going to struggle if you just say, I'm the Excel guy, although being the Excel guy is good, but specialize particularly and focus not just on the technique, but how will the technique help? Yeah. So don't just say I'm a VBA specialist. I'm a specialist in VBA. That's going to speed up all of those manual tasks that are currently getting on your nerves. You've got to tell the story from the customer's perspective. What benefits is your technique going to bring the customer? So you can begin to write a story, create a story around the service you're providing. What problems are you going to solve? Who's the typical person you're going to work with? What journey are they going to go on with you? I know it sounds a bit weird talking about journeys and stuff, but this is how you've got to conceptualize it in order to understand how you can reach customers, how you can begin to make money out of VBA. Let's look at other ways of niching down. And, through my career, I established the other day, I've done over 100 Excel projects now. So you could niche down in terms of technique. I've always thought of niching down in terms of sector. So how might this happen? Well, it might be that you have particular experience of working in one sector, from a previous job, whatever it might be. Another way this might happen is you get a project, and we'll talk later about how you might get a project. You get a project, it's successful, and then you get another project in that sector. If you have two projects in one sector, I would market myself as a specialist in that sector. You've got to niche down to level up. And one thing that I've never done very well is niche down into sectors myself. People come into my website, they say, oh, it's general Excel. I think I've missed out on a lot of business by not niching down more effectively. For example, I've done 3 projects. I did one in 2015, one in 2017, and one in 2018, end of 2018, where I did the same thing 3 times. I built a method statement. Are there any engineers in the chat or anybody who works with a method statement? In 3 slightly different sectors, but all to do with engineering. Now, what I should have done was market myself as the Excel method statement guy. That might sound a bit strange, but what you got to understand is you only need a small group of customers. Your problem is you've got too many potential customers. It's like you're jumping into the sea and just kind of like, swimming around trying to find customers. You've got to niche down in order to segment and target a particular market. I haven't done that particularly well, I don't think. So get a few projects, develop expertise in that area, and of course you're going to repeat things from one project to the next. I've had this experience in engineering, creating a method statement. So I should have created a YouTube channel, Method Statements for Engineers in Excel, or created a little website, Method Statements for Engineers in Excel. Got onto LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, you can do all these nice sales searches and things, and searched out all of the senior engineers who might be making method statements, who live near me, for example. So that's another way you can look at niching down. Targeting a particular sector. I've got sectors that I'm active in, but that's kind of happened by accident over time, and then you have some natural momentum in a particular sector once you've been working on a sector. So let me know in the chat, what sectors do you see yourself specializing? So Thomas, let me know you're still with us in the chat. You've got to think, what sector have you got experience of working in? It might be delivering Excel projects, or it might be delivering Excel training sessions. Whatever it is, what sector have you got experience in? If you have that experience, can you go and market yourself and target other people in that sector? So you're carving out a niche for yourself in a particular sector. How about that? And this is, I mean, business strategy is so interesting. I've got my business strategy textbook here, and I should let you know I teach on an MBA program where I teach about business strategy. Where's this textbook going to go? It's too big. I teach about business strategy. I've taught people in all over the world. In Romania, I went to Singapore, Hong Kong, the Middle East, Bahrain, Oman. I've delivered modules on business strategy. So I don't want to talk about myself all the time. You are the heroes of this course, of this video, but I am bringing a fair amount of credibility to the table here. I've got the YouTube channel, of course, I've got my little business, and I've actually got the academic credibility. So this is one of the textbooks I recommend for business strategy. Do you have to buy a textbook? No, I wouldn't say that, but will a textbook help you explore some of these concepts? Absolutely. And let me tell you about the story of Facebook. Yeah, obviously we all know Facebook, whether you like it or you hate it. We can't deny it. It's been super successful, Facebook. How did Facebook start though? Did Facebook start, Mark Zuckerberg just opened up the website and opened it up to everybody? That's not how Facebook started. Facebook started by creating a very small niche and then dominating it. Creating a small niche and dominating it. What was their particular niche? Well, it started at Harvard University. And they said, when we're starting, we're just going to serve Harvard University. Even though they had other universities saying, can we get involved with your people at other universities saying, can we get involved with your sector? No. They just dominated a tiny sector. So in that case, a geographical segmentation, they dominated that. And then they added another college, and then they added another college, and then they looked at adding people who weren't students. So you see how it works. If you can niche down to level up, you can dominate a small sector and then gradually diversify and grow your business from there. And hopefully you've got some ideas for niching down now. So you could niche down by technique. You could niche down by geography. Yeah, say I serve the Nottingham area, for example. You could niche down by sector. We've already spoken about that. And you could also niche down by type of customer. Let me tell you one thing. Delivering 30 for 30 and just generally through having the YouTube channel, I get lots of emails. I get 10, 15 emails a day, sometimes more, sometimes a few less. I love hearing from everybody. And I try to respond to as many as I can, usually all of them. And there's demand for Excel education in this sector, which is people who are retired. I get so many emails from people who came to Excel late in their career, came to Excel after they've retired. There's no YouTube channel out there saying Excel for retired people, whatever it might be, but that's another way you can niche down. So by getting into a textbook, you can learn about how to do this. You'll call this segmentation analysis. You could do a geographical segmentation, a segmentation by sector, a segmentation by Excel technique, whatever it might be. But you've got to think about how you're going to niche down. Now, so that's what I do for you, Thomas. And I had one more idea for you, Thomas. I was thinking, do you speak any other languages? Yeah, I know you're from South Africa, so maybe you speak Afrikaans or one of the other local languages. I'm not sure what it is. That could be another way to niche down. So Excel in Afrikaans. I don't know who's doing that. I know every time I go to YouTube, there's videos in all kinds of language. You know, Excel in Hindi seems to be very popular. You know, that always comes up on YouTube. So my point is, you got to find a way to niche down. And you're thinking, but that niche is too small. You know, I need more customers. My business only has about, every year, maybe 15 customers, 15. This is not including YouTube and online stuff. The consultancy business has about 15 customers every year. And it's been a reasonably successful business. The reason we've got this nice facility, my posh shed in the back garden, you know, it's all from proceeds from the business. So let me know in the chat, what about, what ideas do you have for niching down? Now tomorrow, we're going to release a video on marketing. Yeah, so we're going to get, once you've defined your niche, yeah, you've looked at your toolkit, possible techniques you could use, then you've got to think about communicating that. Yeah, getting yourself out there. I love this stuff. And I hope you're going to love it too. But tomorrow we're going to have a static video release on the subject of how to market your Excel skills. Good. Okay. Let's get into our second video. So Thomas, let me know if that's helpful for you. I hope it's helpful for you. I'm not sure if it's what you're expecting or not. Let me know in the chat. Leave a comment below the video or shoot me an email, whatever it might be. Right, we're about halfway through the stream, guys. So let me just tell you, let me do my advertising. So this is our Members Monday community on the channel. So this gets you a weekly live stream with me. We're talking about Excel VBA primarily, but not always. We're also talking about Excel VBA in its broader context. You get access to all kinds of things now in Members Monday. You get access to a Facebook group. We have what's called a content navigator, so you can quickly find the topics in the videos. And you get access to members only streams as well. We're going to have at least one members only stream as part of this series. If you like the direction the channel's going, my mission, you should have a mission for whatever you're doing, but my mission is to make business education more accessible and to make it more affordable. If you like that idea and you want to support this community, go ahead, take out a Members Monday membership. Fantastic. Right, we're going to move on to Mariya's video. Okay, here we go.
Hi Chris, I'm Mariya from Bulgaria. I'm following your YouTube channel and find everything inside so useful. I work part-time and in my job the Excel skills which I need should be basic only, but I like to learn more in Excel. And therefore, I made several accounts in several sites, and already several months I try to do a part-time Excel project. I have a daughter at my home which I have to take care of, and that is the reason which I would like to turn my Excel skills in better place so I can make more projects at home. The only thing which scares me is that I don't know how exactly to estimate how long time should I need to be able to finish certain project. This is the thing which actually made me reject at least several projects, and this thing scares me a lot. If you can help me with this, I will be very happy. And I would like to thank you for being my online teacher.
Okay, there it is. Thank you so much, Mariya, for that video message. And remember, you can send in a video message too. I don't have any for tomorrow yet. Do it on your phone. Share it with me via Dropbox or any other sharing platform, whatever it might be. Please try to film it in landscape rather than portrait orientation. Let me know, how are you going to niche down in Excel? What niche are you going to serve? Do you want any feedback on your ideas? I'm very happy to give you those. So Mariya's problem here is Mariya's getting projects. So it sounds like Mariya's been on some websites. So do you mean some freelancing websites? I would say, Mariya, and that is one way, of course, to market yourself in VBA. For me, in Excel, for me, using a kind of freelancer website, short term, that might work. Yeah, and it might be a good initial step when you're trying to promote yourself in that way. But long term, I think you've got to do more than that. You've got to try to build an audience long term. And we're going to get into that in this series. But maybe to get started, definitely doing freelance websites and things like that. And Mariya is saying that she's had to reject projects. She's had to turn down projects because she's not sure if she can complete the projects, if she can deliver the projects. And let me know in the chat, Mariya, if you can, what are the specific problems here? It sounds to me like you don't know how much work is going to be involved in this project. Therefore, you don't feel that you can commit to doing this project. That's what it sounds like. So let's talk about a few questions you can ask the customer, the prospective customer, a few things you can do to make yourself feel confident that you can do the work and to make yourself, put yourself in a position to succeed on a project. Well, firstly, so have you seen the file that you might be working with, Mariya? I think this might be your problem. I think maybe you're looking at an online post. Somebody's advertised some potential Excel work, but they haven't included the file. Now, I would say don't commit to doing any Excel work without being able to look at the file. There has to be a very good reason that you can't look at the file. In fact, I don't think I've ever done a job where I haven't been able to look at the file. So the first thing has to be to ask the prospective customer to share the file with you. Let me know in the chat. Have you been able to do that, Mariya? If you can share the file, you can get a sense for what's happening. But sometimes, of course, files are very, very complicated. Now, we have a video on the channel that's called Understand an Excel File in 3 Easy Steps. That's the video I recommend. As you build up your experience, you do this more and more, you're going to get better at looking at Excel files and understanding them. But in the beginning, it's going to take time to understand an Excel file. You're trying to establish how complex is this job? How difficult is it? Well, what are some of the things that make a spreadsheet complex? Well, some simple questions. How many sheets are in the file? How many hidden sheets are in the file? This often happens in organizations. Sheets get hidden over time. What is the role of each sheet? More than likely, you'll have roles mixed up between sheets. Yeah, so usually you should have one role for each sheet, maybe one sheet doing analysis, one sheet holding the data, one sheet doing some calculations. So you can list each sheet and describe the role. What is it doing? Part of your project might be to reorganize the file properly so that there's a clear role for each sheet. And then we haven't even spoken about code, have we? So is there any Excel VBA code in the file? If so, what is that code doing? Is that code recent? Is it new? Is it old? Can it be removed now? How dependent is the file structure on that code? All kinds of questions that you've got to ask here. So get the file and do your analysis. Now, if a file looks really, really complicated, then I would say, don't commit to doing the work. But what you can say to your prospective customer is, this file is very, very complicated. I will charge you in order to look through the file and to create a report for you so that you can understand the file better. So again, that's what I call a problem structuring job in Excel. All of that is, for me, is chargeable work. You shouldn't be spending days and days of your time understanding an Excel file. For a customer to be able to understand an Excel file, get all of the skeletons out of the cupboard, have all the secrets of the file revealed, that's a really positive outcome for a customer, positive outcome for a business. So you could include that work in your chargeable time, but you absolutely have to get the file, have to be able to understand the file. And then we'll move on to customer requirements. So what the customer is asking, is it actually possible? And here we have to do what I call translation, and it might be live translation. If you're in a meeting situation, meeting a client face to face, or maybe on Zoom or on Skype these days, you've got to be doing live translation. So what the client is asking for, how possible is that in Excel? Can you do that in Excel? And again, this will come with experience. If a client is asking for a nice form in order to do data input, okay, that means user forms. And to me, user forms always take a lot of time, always take a lot of code to put together. So that's a bit of that could be problematic. But there's lots of things that customers want that are actually quite easy to put in. Sometimes a customer wants a particular analysis, and that can be quite straightforward using pivot tables. But if the customer has never used pivot tables, then it can seem kind of magical to the customer. And the same for VBA. If a customer's never seen VBA and you show them the benefits of VBA, they're going to love that. So there's two things to do. You've got to understand the file and then understand the client requirements. Once you've understood the requirements, how difficult is it to create those requirements? Then once you've done all that, you should be able to estimate how long it's going to take you. Not an easy process, and gets better with experience. So let me know in the chat, does that make sense? Welcome Lionel from South Africa. Lionel saying he could specialize in financial modeling with forecasting and risk management with minimal VBA. And VCCC 10, hi from Brazil. Welcome to our viewer from Brazil. Good to have you with us. So that's how I would go about trying to understand, can I do an Excel project? But on the other hand, I've got another visual for you here. You have to try, okay? We're not going to be able to push this forward unless we try. So there's a few ways to de-risk this situation for you in order to be able to do a project. You have to be able to do projects in order to get better at doing projects. So I would consider doing a project for free. Not often, but in order to get started, you have to get that experience. One way to de-risk it and to take the pressure off you is to do some projects for free. And you might be saying to me, but Chris, it's make money out of Excel. That's not making money. Well, I did say it takes time and it takes patience. So that might be a good way for you to get a project. Another great way to feel confident about projects is to have content online. And as we go through the series, we're going to talk more and more about online content. But you must create online content. If people can see that you have online content, maybe too, you've got references from other people, they're going to feel more confident about your work and you're going to feel more confident about the project. Okay, so there's a couple of ways there for you to, that's my process of understanding an Excel project, understanding how long it's going to take, and then maybe de-risking it as well, taking some of the pressure off so that you can actually get started with Excel VBA projects and start making money out of Excel. Prakash, welcome from India. Good to have you with us. So that concludes the bulk of the stream today. Let me know, guys, any further questions in the chat? So I hope that gives you some ideas. Yeah, Charles with a good idea in the chat here. So yeah, if you're doing a project for free, then you could ask, as compensation, could you give me a referral? And then suddenly you've managed to create a niche, haven't you? If say, okay, my niche, I'm going to focus on primary schools. By the way, that would be a great focus because there's so many primary schools in the UK who are struggling with data. I've done lots of projects with primary schools. Then you could say, you just literally walk to a primary school and say, could I help you with Excel? I'm not going to charge you, but I would like a referral if you like the work. Yeah, you can't pressure somebody to give you a referral, but if you like the work. So say they refer you to another school, then suddenly you've got 2 customers. Yeah. If you've got 2 customers, you've got a niche. Yeah. So you can then promote that work, create case studies out of that work, do YouTube videos about that work, and suddenly you can grow a niche. Yeah. That's just from one primary school and one free project. Seriously, I wish I'd done it this way. When I started my company, the way I did it was not rational or planned like this. I think I'll be much further along the line now if I'd done it that way. So great contribution there from Charles. And Mariya, are you still with us, by the way? I haven't heard anything in the chat from you, so I hope this is helping you. Yeah, Hakan says, buy online content. Do you mean YouTube stuff or just blog-like things? So great question. Yeah, in my view, you have to be creating content if you want to have a serious Excel-based business or Excel-based kind of individual consultancy, whatever it might be. What kind of content should that be? That can depend on you. What are you comfortable doing? Like, I feel confident now speaking on camera, but I've been doing this for about 8 years. What's another big market, a big kind of mode of media, a big medium, that's the word I'm looking for, that doesn't involve pictures? Podcasts. And I'm telling you now, there's a demand for an Excel podcast at the moment. Yeah, there's some out there. I've seen some out there, but not regular. And this is another problem with content. You've got to do it regularly. You've got to do it at scale. You've got to do lots of it. But YouTube could be one. Podcast could be one. I think blog posts are possible, but these days I think people would much rather watch a video than do a blog post. Yeah. But even within the medium of video, there's so many different platforms now. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. What about TikTok? Is anybody doing Excel on TikTok yet? You know, you're saying, God, that sounds ridiculous. Well, that is the next market. And believe me, when we started YouTube in 2011, there wasn't much Excel stuff on there at all. People were like, you're going to do Excel on YouTube, you know. So there's a few different mediums and there's a few different platforms. And on each of those platforms, a different type, a different form of content is going to work. Yeah, so online content could mean video. Probably not blogging for me. Welcome to Ubaid, by the way, from the UAE. Welcome to Danny as well, saying great stuff. And yeah, okay, I think that's everything for today. So tomorrow, guys, we'll be moving on to marketing. So what you should take out of today is this idea of niching. We've got a niche down to level up. So I want you to fill out the Excel file. We looked at the Excel file today. How can you niche down in terms of Excel technique? But what are some of the other niches you might get into? A sector you might get into. It might be a particular geography you get into. You know, doing Excel for the people in your town or your village. Sounds ridiculous, but this is how you grow a big business, by dominating a particular niche and then diversifying from there. And thanks to Mariya for her question. I hope I've given you some good practical points there for how to get Excel working for you in terms of your career. So thank you so much, guys. We will have a static video release that is coming tomorrow at 4 o'clock UK time, then the day after. So Sunday, we'll be back here for a live stream. Great to have you with us, guys. Thanks so much. Take good care of yourselves and the people around you. I will see you on Sunday, but tomorrow we have the static video release. I'll see you then.